Hey, good morning, and welcome to another training co-sponsored by the Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce and Swing Point Media. I'm Jeff Harrison of Swing Point Media. Katie has taken her crew and she's on the road. You know, she just believes so much in education and helping her staff so they can help us as members of the Rancho Mirage community even more. So they're in in Glendale for the next few days doing some pretty in-depth education. And, you know, Katie and her staff, Dawn and Ann, they all do such a great job. I just want to give them a shout out that thank you for all you do. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce, obviously, of Rancho Mirage, and they just do a great, great job. So before we get started today, I just wanted to kind of go over exactly what we're doing here. And what this is a training program to help you as a business owner here in the Coachella Valley. It doesn't matter whether you're a small business, mom and pop, or a large business, like Renova Solar is an example. What we talk about is how do you get more customers? And that's one of those things that when I did a presentation yesterday to my BNI group, which is a great group. It's called the Desert Network Professionals. And it's one of those things that content marketing really helps solve a major problem. And that is the number of businesses that open and the number of businesses that close every year. In fact, I shared a stat with them that said, hey, in 2018, that was the last stats. They said there were about 250 or 249,000 new businesses that opened up in 2018. And at the end of 2018, 222,000 of them closed. And that's like 89% failure rate. And as I look around, probably one of the number one things that causes this is lack of people knowing that you're in business and that you can solve their problems. And so content, which is what we were talking about last week and this week, that solves that problem, because even since COVID has begun, it's only made the power of search even that much greater. There was a stat put out by Forbes a few years ago, I think it was 2019, that said 82% of us would rather do all our research online before we ever pick up a phone or walk into someone's business and take it to that next level, whether it's a transaction or just need additional questions answered, just to feel good about that decision. 82% of us. That number is now, since COVID, is 88%. So what does that mean to you as a small business owner? Well, quite frankly, it means this. If you do not have a presence on the internet, then when we do search for, hey, how do I fill in the blank, or where can I fill in the blank, and your business does not show up, we don't even know you exist. We really don't know you exist. So content can bridge that gap. And when I say content, we're talking about information that is searchable by us as the consumer and answers or solves a problem that we need solved or answered along our journey to make a buying decision. And that's really the power of content marketing. Today, we're going to use a case study. I'm excited to share with you. This is a live a case study with a client that we work currently with. And I just want to show you how it looks when a piece of content is done, what impact it has, and its longevity in that whole realm of, hey, what's going on? So let's dive into this. I'm going to add by the way, last week we talked about research, and there's really 3 steps to this: research, create, and distribute. And last week we talked about researching. And if you had any questions about that, I do have the chat opened up. So please, please put your comments in. And if you're watching, whether it's on Facebook for the Chamber, Facebook at Swing Point Media, or you're watching on YouTube, all of those questions come right into my chat just here to the side of me. So I'll see those and we'll address those. But when it comes to research, it's one of those things that here at Swing Point Media, and I want you to own this statement that says, never make a piece of content that your ideal customers are not already searching for. Because it's no different than, and I've seen this where, bless her heart, sometimes someone will open up a restaurant And then 3 or 4 months later, it shuts down, and it's a restaurant. You're going, did they do any research to find out if that neighborhood would actually support them opening up that type of restaurant? Like nobody wanted Slovenia, and you name it. I'm just at the top of my head, that type of food. Nobody had an interest in that. But if we did some market research and found, hey, what are people searching for in this area, wish they had, and the nearest restaurant is 5 miles away, and you can serve that area and cut that into a mile, you could probably do very well. So content will do the same thing. We want to make content that your ideal customer is already searching for. How to fix a leaky faucet. Why is my garbage disposal making a humming noise? How can I get rid of that smell in my garbage disposal? All these things we research for our clients, and then we make content and we create a video for that. And when we talk about content, it can be written, it can be video, or it can be audio, or it can be a combination of both or all three of those. Whatever it is that works for you, that you're most comfortable with, is really what I want you to start out with. We're going to show you written and video today. All right, so let's dive in. Let me just share my screen and put it over here. I'm going to be down here in the corner. And so today is creating content. In fact, I'm just going to kind of move me out of there. You don't need to see me. So creating content, it's making the messages that attracts your ideal audience. That's really what we're focusing on here today. And as we go through this, I want to share a couple things with you. This is a quote from somebody that I follow. His name is Joe Pulizzi, and he owns a company called Content Marketing Institute. And it says content marketing is a strategic marketing approach focused on creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content. This is really key to attract and retain a clearly defined audience, and ultimately to drive profitable customer action. In other words, that's this whole job of content. Now, for some of you and I'm going to share a screen here in a minute that talks about, well, I just run ads. Hey, I get that. But you'll see here in a second that content, like we're talking about, like we have been talking about the last couple of weeks, has so much more power than advertisements. So here's a cool thing I like about content marketing. Conversion rates are 6 times higher for adoption against non-adopters. In other words, when you have a piece of content, your chances of being much more successful in converting that person from adopting to non-adopting your content is 6x. I mean, to me, that gets my awareness. Say, wow, if I could make 6 times my money on something, would I invest in it? That's kind of a no-brainer. And it says it results in increased brand awareness, educated audience, generating leads, and more. And quite frankly, you can use this in any area. So if you're just saying, hey, I need to make it a piece of content that creates brand awareness, you can write a piece of content, you can make a video about that. Or if you want to educate them on something, because let's face it, when we educate people, it adds value and it gives them a reason to say, hey, I need to sign up with Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce because I didn't know they did all these things for me to help me grow my business. And the other one is generating leads and more. And we're going to talk about that because there's a real simple process that we want to go through with every piece of content that needs to be there to help you not just make content, but to make that content create more business. And here on the right, it says, hey, areas where B2B, because this is not just B2C. Now, when I say B2B, I'm talking business to business or business to consumer. Content marketing increased spending in the last 12 months. In other words, content creation, it's grown 56%. And that's because businesses are starting to recognize, hey, this is a better way so that my phone rings because they found me versus me trying to put more ads in front of them to get more attention. And content marketing staff, they're increasing their staff by 1/3. Paid content distribution, they're starting to do some of this, and that's not a bad way to accelerate your message. Now, Here's something I want to point out why content marketing is important is 27% of US internet users now have ad block installed. And with the uh, advent of the iOS 15 update, it's making it harder and harder for us as advertisers that use paid advertising to actually track, did you come to my website? Did you do this? Because there's delay in that because of privacy issues. So you want to adapt this. If you can adapt content marketing, you can win. 20% of people will read text on a page. Now, here's important, real big thing. This is why we do video for every one of our customers. 20% of people will read the text on the page, but 80% will watch a video. 80%. That's huge, gang. I mean, all of a sudden, that's 4xing the attention of your audience. And content marketing gets 3 times higher quality leads than paid search advertising. Now, why do you think that's true? And this is why I'm not real high on social media marketing, because social media is still what I call interruption marketing. I'm not going there to see if there's a brand that has a product or service on sale, and I'm gonna surf the ads in my timeline. That's not why I'm going there. But those will interrupt me if I happen to fall in their demographics. So when you're using content marketing, what's happening is we as consumers are actually searching out and trying to find an answer for the problem we're seeking. And when we do this, by the time we get to the person who's offering that product or service, we're more primed and ready to buy, and we're more educated. So we're of higher value. And what I've noticed, and this is what the feedback we get with my customers, there's less discounting. So there's higher profit margins for those people who use content marketing. So really, so far, I'm just kind of catching up with what we're doing and really reinforcing why content marketing is so powerful. So I want to talk now about the components of written content. So you might want to write this down. These are the things that you want to make sure that you have when it comes to content. The first thing is length, minimum length. I'd like to see your average blog post not be anything less than 750 words. And the reason is because if it's one of those things where it's almost like when you ask your kids, or you have somebody that asks a question and you're looking for an in-depth answer and they give you yes or no. Well, maybe you were looking for something a little bit more than that. Well, that's how the search engines look. If you have a piece of content that's 250 words and everybody else has 1,000, 1,200, or 750 words, they view your piece of content as thin and it lacks enough information to really solve the problem that their customers, the search people, are actually looking for. So the chances of you being served up an answer are really low. The next thing we want to do is we want to make sure they contain an H1 and H2 tags. Now, what does that mean? Well, H is a headline, and 2 is it's the largest headline. 2 is the second largest headline. And we want to use those throughout our especially the H1, we want to make sure we have a good strong headline to open it up. The reason is because the search engines are looking for that. Hey, they're real quickly, those little bots in the algorithm are looking at our content on our blogs, on our website, and they're looking for that H1 tag to say, hey, what is this new piece of content that Katie has just put on the website? Oh, here it is. Here's that H1 tag. And then the H2 tags are really things that you're going to have throughout your, and I'll show you this here in a second. They're the tags or the subtitles of new paragraphs, and it helps stand out. And the reason they do is because there are people like me that we like to skim through and see if we want to, pick up the highlights. So those are H1 and H2 tags. I'd like to see your blogs have at least 2 to 4 relevant images that support that. The other thing about this is when we put those images in there, we need to make sure that they have tags and titles in there. The reason is because just like that, if you did a Google search, and I'll show you here in a minute, when you do a Google search, it has at the top, it's like all images, videos, and something else. I can't remember what the other one is off the top of my head, but if you have images and you've put the right title and tags in there, then what happens it would equally serve as a searchable item for people looking for things, because it's that whole saying is an image is worth 1,000 words. Well, if you have images that are about your product or service and you've properly titled them and put tags in there, then the search engines actually pull those out and categorize them in those search areas under images. All right. And we had a customer over in, we have a customer over in Oxnard. He's a chiropractor, and he had all these images on his website, but he had 76 images. And I think probably like 60 of them had no title, no tag. They had image 364, image 7. Well, the search engines, they need some help. You got to tell them what it is. So we're saying, hey, this is doctor, I won't tell the name, adjusting the back of a patient. This is Dr. Blank adjusting the hips, that kind of thing. So now when we're talking hip adjustment and we have that description and the website in there, the chances of that showing up in those images and people see the image and say, oh, this guy looks like a nice guy, and they click that, it takes it back to that article again. So that's why it's important to have those titles and tags in there. Keyword phrases and search terms. Most of the time, your keyword phrases could be the title of your article, but you want to restate that several times throughout your article. So if it's, how to tie a tie, that might be the title of your article and the title of your video. But then throughout there, you say, there's 3 steps in how to tie a tie. And as you're tying a tie, in other words, you're going to say that several times because they want to make sure, hey, when those little bots look at your content, is this really content that answers the questions of my customers, the search customers, if you will, for Google or any of the other search engines? Should I send them there? Is there some depth in that? Yes, they mention that keyword phrase and the search terms that line up with that. They mention it throughout that article. All right. So it helps to have that information in there. And we use the H2, as I said, the H2 heading for new paragraphs. And that's good for people that tend to skim the articles to find out, hey, is this really for me? And if we have the pieces up there, step 1, here's this, step 2, and these are H2 headings for new paragraphs, chances are those skimmers will hang around. Also, the next component of writing of written content is having a conclusionary paragraph. And this is real important. This is like you're wrapping it up. And what you're going to do is in that particular last paragraph, you're going to talk about all the services and products that your company offers or you as an entrepreneur offer. And when you do this, these are also searchable terms to make sure that, hey, you are being rated for being, an HVAC repair service. You do duct cleaning. You do this. You do that. You have a maintenance program, all that type of thing. The other thing you want to put in there is, hey, the locations you serve. I got a call this morning or a message this morning from one of my staff who said, hey, Jeff, and they were talking about one of my articles that we had written for Swing Point Media. And she said, can you confirm your location? And I missed that, but this is one of those things. Hey, this is a component. This is kind of her checklist, and we miss that. So we have to put that in there. That is important because what happens is when somebody says, I'm looking for a carpet cleaner in Rancho Mirage. And in your article, if you're a carpet cleaning company, you've written about cleaning carpet. And then down in your conclusionary statement, you've written, hey, I do carpet cleaning, deep cleaning tile, da-da-da-da. And the locations I serve are Rancho Mirage, Cathedral City, Palm Springs, and Desert Hot Springs. Example. So what would happen is you have a chance of showing up when somebody types in that carpet cleaning near me, and the geo search in Google says, oh, we know you're in Rancho Mirage, so let's see if we can find somebody close to you. Boom, you happen to pop up. So that's important to have that in there. And the last thing you want to have is a CTA or a call to action. Now, a call to action it doesn't mean, hey, buy my stuff. It could, but it could mean what is the next step? It could be recommending another video, another article that helps them learn more about your products and services. Now, why is that important? Well, let's face it, it works on Netflix. You know, how many of you, you don't have to show your hands, but how many of you are Netflix binge watchers? I do that. You next thing you know, I'm like, geez, I've watched 4 episodes of this, and what time flies, because once you get in there, you just kind of get hooked. Well, what's happened is you now have built a deeper relationship. I built a deeper relation with that show, so the chance of me coming back in the future are really high. So if we can get people to binge watch or binge read your content, the chances of that relationship being stronger and more meaningful and moving closer to a transaction, much better, much better. So your call to action may be saying, hey, watch my next video. Check out this article on X, Y, and Z. Okay. Again, it could be a call to action. Click here for more information or to set an appointment. All right. So let's talk about a case study. And I'm going to just do a share on my screen. So it'll take just a second here, but this is a case study for Lux Electric Car. And they are a golf cart manufacturer here in the Coachella Valley. I think they're one of the only ones here in Southern California who actually manufacture golf carts here in Palm Desert, just north of the freeway and Washington. They have their manufacturing and service plant there. And then they have a place on Highway 111 just east of Portola on the south side of the street. So let's do this. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Good. And then let me end this. And let me pull that back up. If you have any questions, that was a good time just to pop those in there. All right, so let's share that screen again. All right, so let me know if you can't see that screen. And as we're going along here, I invite you to have any questions, put them in the comment section, and we'll jump in. But here is an example of one of our clients, Lux Electric Golf Car. They've been our clients now for a couple of years. And when we first started with them, they were doing a lot of things. They had tried a lot of stuff, radio, television, you name it. They had done a lot of things. And when we got with them, we said, hey, you don't have any content really on your website. There's a lot of stuff on there that just says how great you are, but you're not solving any of your clients' questions. And most customers, when we tell them that, they're like, well, what else do we need? They're not sure. So we started writing content, and I want to pull up something right here. Should I leave my golf cart plugged in all the time? Now we redid this website in June of 2011. So you see there's a lot of them that say June of 2011. We actually created this piece of content probably closer to February of 2020. And we put that because this was one of the first things that we wrote for them. And remember what I said, we never want to make content that your ideal customer is not already searching for. Well, we found that should I leave my golf cart plugged in all the time was something that was being searched for. So let's break this down and let's see if it has all the components we were talking about. So here's your H1 tag. Should I leave my golf cart plugged in all the time? Boom, absolutely. Big title right there. Then we have a golf cart. So if somebody comes to that particular article, they immediately say, hey, they're talking about electric golf carts. Okay, I'm on the right page. Then we have right here at the very top, we have a video about that same thing. Remember, what did I say about what a video does? That people would rather do what? 4 times more. They'd rather watch a video. So we have a video right there, and I'll dive into it just in a second. I'll show you what that has done for this particular client. So now we have an opening paragraph, but then here it is again. Should I leave my golf cart plugged in all the time? That's another one of those H2 tags. And then we have some breaks here. Now, as we go through here, you can see we have those. We probably don't have as many images as I'd like to see. This was kind of early on, but here we put that video in there. We didn't want to make it too crowded, but we probably could put some additional things in there, which is good. I'm glad I see this. The other piece is, let's go to our conclusionary statement. Conclusion: caring for your golf cart battery with regular charging is a way to extend the longevity. However, experts advise leaving your cart unplugged all the time is essential for golf cart batteries. Try the following recommendations. You can see here, we probably could have done on this article a little bit better with a conclusionary statement. This is an opportunity, even though it ranks, and I'll show you in a second, it ranks number one in the category when people are searching for this. We could make it even better. Now, part of it is because they sell golf carts literally all over the world. They ship everywhere. They ship to Dubai. They ship to Indonesia. You name it, Hawaii. It's not uncommon. So we don't want to box ourselves in for this client too much. Part of the reason we left that out. But our call to action is right here. Because we're getting traffic to this, imagine if you could turn every one of your blog posts into a freeway that got traffic. Now, not just any traffic, but your ideal traffic, very interested traffic. Because let's face it, the people who come to what will happen if your golf cart is plugged in all the time, if your golf cart's plugged in all the time, or should I leave my golf cart plugged in all the time? Do you think they are people that are probably likely to either own a golf cart or thinking about buying a golf cart? Absolutely. They're already the ideal customer. That's what that article tends to do with search is it filters people out. They're not just tire kickers. You're not just standing in the mall and trying to hand out perfume samples. And I came in to buy a leash for my cat. No relevance. But when people come to your website and they're looking at your article, chances are they are somewhere in that journey to either confirm the information they need to know, or they're thinking about buying something. All right. So we have this call to action on this. Now, what has this done? This is like the billboard on our freeway. So when they're reading this along the way and they said, holy cow, maybe this is a good time. I have lead acid batteries, which is another power source for golf carts, but lithium, a free upgrade of up to $4,500, maybe it's a good time for me to trade in. So there's that billboard that makes sense. It connects to the fact that, hey, maybe it's time to go ahead and trade in that golf cart or buy a new golf cart. So it has those components we're talking about. It has them all there. Now I want to show you when we do a search for that piece of content, there are 51,700,000 searches for that piece of content. And look what happens here. Lux Electric Car, right there, right on top. How cool is that? Now, not only that, but videos. Look they have the first two videos in there. Should I leave my golf cart plugged in all the time? That's Lux Electric Golf Cart. Lux Electric Golf Car. Should I leave my golf cart plugged in all the time? Another video. So we put one in February 15th, one August 13th. So do you think there's some authority in the fact that, hey, these people at Lux look like they know what they're talking about? Absolutely. So we own, if you will, 3 out of the top 4 search spots when it comes to, should I leave my golf cart plugged in all the time? And of course, when you click it, where does it take you? Right back to that article. I also want to, and I'm just going to jump in here. I'm just going to check something. Here you go. Right there. How long should I leave my golf cart plugged in? Remember I said that could be something that is searchable. So if I click this, it takes it right back to the article because this is one of our images. How long should I leave my golf cart plugged in? And you'll see. Let's see. Are there any others in there? That looks like that's the only one that really showed up. But hey, we're in the number 2 spot. That ain't bad. And the first one, what do we know? We don't even know for sure exactly what that is. This one is, it's pretty obvious. Hey, we're talking about plugging in a golf cart. All right. Videos. There it is right there. Boom, boom. We own the first 2 spots when it comes to video. So that helps drive traffic. By the way, this is organic traffic, meaning, hey, we're not having to pay for this. So let's talk about this because we said we have the article on the website, but we also put video on there. So in that situation, I just want to look at the analytics real quick, and I'm going to pop back to the video because I want you to see what impact this actually has on the business owner as far as traffic is concerned. Because when we talked at the very beginning, I said, hey, one of the most challenging things for businesses, they don't get enough opportunities. They don't get enough good opportunities. content corrects that. So let's open up the analytics, and I want to point out, should I leave my golf cart plugged in all the time? Now, this is in the last 7 days, gang. 477 times they came to the website on that particular article. They had almost 500 people in the last 7 days come to the website checking that out. Now, I just want to point out here, in that same last 7 days, how do you acquire users? And it says, if you notice right there, it says, okay, social, referral, direct, organic. Social, we got one person coming from social media to the website. We got one that was a referral. We got 14 direct. And what that means is they knew the client's name. They knew Lux Electric Car and then just put a search in for a Lux Electric Car. But look at this, 135 of them came organically because of the content on the website. And I'm really drilling this home because I want you to understand that, there's a saying that says, hey, when's the best time to plant a tree? The answer is 20 years ago. But if you don't have any trees in your yard and you don't have any content on your website, get it on there starting today. All right. And this is true. Look at this. This is the dark blue. 135 on January 26th. 132 on January 27th, 127 on the 28th, 152 on the 20th. I mean, you can see it's very, very consistent. And this same article in the last, let's see what it says in the last 30 days or the last 28 days. Look at this. Basically 19, almost 2,000 people came to their website because of that one article alone. That's amazing. Isn't that kind of cool? Now, in the last month, and I just want to point out, when we first started with these people, they were getting 200. That's right, not 3,700, 200 people a month come to the website. Now they consistently, and this is up 8.4% month over month, they get almost 4,000 people coming to their website a day, or excuse me, every 28 days. That's the opportunity. And their business has gone 6X. 6X is their business. This is not uncommon, gang. All right. So I just want to point that out because when I say case study, I like to just say, hey, it's not just me, bragging about somebody. This is from Google Analytics. This is real time. What's happening right now? So if we said, hey, today, how many people are going to the site today? They've had a little bit of a drop off because it's only 11:30. They just opened. They've had 61 people already go to their website. And look at, they came in from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. 13 people came. If we did the same thing down here today, I mean, so far, they've already had 10 organic searches, 8 organic. This is by the hour, by the way. So it's working all the time. So I want to jump back in. I'm going to talk about, because we talked about your videos, that they're 4 times more likely to stay and watch your video. So let's jump over here and say, okay, when we talk about Lux Electric Car, let's jump into our videos. There we go. And so we have that there. Should I leave my golf cart plugged in all the time? February 14th, 2020 is when we first put that up there. So 2 years ago, it has had 16,577 people watch that video. Do you think some of those have turned into customers? Absolutely. How about this one? How long should my charge last? That's 6,700 people. How about this one? If you're thinking about buying a golf cart, or if you're not thinking about buying a golf cart, would you actually watch a video that says, how much does an electric golf cart cost? Absolutely not. But instead, 30,793 people watch that. Most people would kill because the average number of views on a YouTube video is less than 500. So you can see they're just killing it with these videos. They're doing well. Here's another. What makes an electric golf cart street legal? That's a big thing. Is many people that are using golf carts on the street right now. So, and this was back in December of 2019, 7,319 people. This is not uncommon. This is what happens when we talk about using content. Okay. So let me just turn that off. And at this point, if you have any questions, please put them in the, let me just pop this in here. And make that a little smaller so I can see it. Great. All right. So now let me add this back in there. Good. All right. So as we said, we did a case study with Lux Electric Golf Car. Here's one thing I want you to take away. Writing one good piece of content isn't enough. You need to be consistent to be consistently awesome. Most of our customers, I think there's only a couple that are an exception, that we don't write new pieces of content every week. Every week, something new is put on the client's website. Why? Because what happens is the search engines or the bots for the search engines will do what they call crawl your website. And if they crawl your website and you put a new piece of content on there, they're thinking, oh, there's a bonus. It looks like Bob in his company, they put a new piece of content up there and it's fresh and it's relevant. But let's say they come back next week and nothing new has changed. Okay, no big deal. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, 6 weeks later, you go by. Guess what? Now there is no fresh, unique, relevant content that you're putting out there. It is, in their eyes, it has now started to become nothing more than a static brochure. And for them to send any of their customers to that page, it now hurts them, because think about it. Google is referring you to their customers. We would never want to refer a customer to one of our friends if it didn't work. So this is why you want to do it on a regular, consistent basis. All right. So any questions? I don't see any questions, no hands going up. That's okay. So next week, we're going to talk about, hey, now that you've researched your content, you've written your content, maybe even made a video. Maybe you just jumped out there and made a video. Next week, we're going to talk about distribution. That'll be at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I think Katie and the gang will be back. We'll be live here in the stream, in the Swing Point Media studios. And we look forward to having you. If you're watching this and it's delayed, please do me a favor. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the chat, whether you're on Facebook, whether it's Swing Point Media or it's for the Chamber or YouTube. Please put your questions in there. We'll be looking for it and we'll get back and answer those. And we look forward to seeing you next week. So without any further delay, I just want to say thank you and have a great week. It's a little windy outside. It's unusual for us today. So maybe it's a good day to do some things inside. Probably not a good day to do yard work unless you're raking down wind. Definitely don't rake into the wind. All right, you guys have a great week and we'll see you next week at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Wednesday, the 9th of February. Geez, here we go. We're already into the second month of the year. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.